About a year ago, my co founder and I left the company that we had founded and run for 10 years. I've shared a bunch of videos about our journey in detail, so if you haven't watched those, you can go look them up. But yesterday, one of the fellow founders joined our Slack and asked this follow up question. After everything that happened, how did you manage to regain the trust of investors? How did you rebuild the trust of investors? This is a very interesting question, and I wanted to actually answer this question from the very top, which is how do you build trust in investors? First of all, we never really lost the trust of the good investors. Those who were watching this all from the sidelines or from the inside and knew exactly what happened still loved us. In fact, when I left, I felt responsible enough to personally notify some of the investors that I had resigned. So I sent a message to a number of them. And one of them called me that very same evening and basically told me, look, I don't know what you're going to do next, but I'm positive you're going to build again. And when you do, I want to be your first check in. And that was very, very heartwarming. And sure enough, he was our first angel check in the round. So, what did we do to first of all build this trust from day one? The trust starts at the very first meeting you have with the investor, even before they invest. The trust is what leads them to believe that they should be investing in you. But then, after they invest, it doesn't end there. You cannot ignore them after they've invested. What I've done is a combination of things. In the very early stages, I would send out a monthly update to all the angel investors and anybody who invested in the company. And then as we grew, I made that a quarterly update, but I never missed a single update ever. Good news or bad news, they always knew they're going to hear from me every quarter. Two, I kept it fairly raw in these updates. If something was not going well, they would actually know that it's not going well. But at the same time, I want to be careful about this. We can overcorrect on the negatives because as founders, those negative situations actually affect us more, and we tend to downplay the positive sometimes. And I think this happens much more with women. So you should be careful for that. You should watch out. You definitely want to communicate the good news very, very loudly. But at the same time, you don't want to keep them in the dark about anything bad. Three, I would actually have short calls with some of the key investors every now and then. Not so often, but every couple of months or so, spend 30 minutes with them, sit down, have a conversation, find out how they're doing, and share how you're doing. Lastly, whenever an investor reached out to me with any questions, I never ever ignored them, no matter how small they were. After I left, when people realized they stopped getting the updates, some of them actually reached out to me and said, hey, I haven't gotten an update on Rizzle for a while. And I was like, well, I'm no longer the CEO. Turns out the new guy hasn't sent a single update to some of the investors. So the answer is very short. Keep in touch with your investors. They'd appreciate it.